What is up, guys? Welcome back to another GeekaWhat video, and 2017 is almost over. The year's gone so quickly. I'll be talking about the channel and a year in review, if you will, in a video coming very soon probably. But what that means today is I'm going to predict the CPU and GPU and PC component releases that I think we're likely to see in 2018 and when, and what effect that will have on you guys as consumers. So smash that like button, but let's dive straight into it. First of all, it's worth noting the amount of disruption that 2017 saw from AMD, who have once again become a majorly competent player. Like them or not as a company, like their products or not, you have to admire what they've done this year. They have brought so many new products to the table, specifically the Ryzen CPUs, which have just caused uproar that the market hasn't seen in quite some time. Granted, AMD's impact this year was more so on the CPU than it was the GPU side of things, although the huge demand for graphics cards from cryptocurrency miners certainly stopped Nvidia and AMD from being really aggressive on pricing due to those huge demand spikes. The first thing I expect to see during 2018, and not necessarily in chronological order, is Nvidia's Volta lineup of graphics cards to be launched. A couple of weeks back now, Nvidia launched their new $3,000, yes, $3,000 Titan V graphics card, which isn't aimed at gamers, more deep learning and specialized research applications, but this actually runs on Nvidia's new Volta architecture of GPU, so it does give us somewhat of an idea as to what we can expect. Initial tests and numbers that have been floating around indicate up to 30% gains over Pascal with this new architecture, which could be really exciting, and I definitely see Nvidia's market share increasing with the release of these Volta graphics cards, because they are definitely the market leader at this moment in time. That being said, I do not expect in the slightest AMD either to have any problems selling GPUs in 2018. Cryptocurrency mining is very much not going away anytime soon, unless all of this cryptocurrency stuff just completely crashes. Whilst the prices are high, people will want to mine these cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, all of these different cryptocurrencies, and with AMD very much so being the king on this front, their new Vega 64 actually is beating out the Titan X and the Titan V, despite its much lower price in cryptocurrency applications. Unfortunately for consumers, this does mean that prices are once again going to stay pretty high on the GPU front, which, whilst is disappointing, is certainly understandable from AMD and Nvidia's perspectives. In terms of CPU releases in 2018, I expect it to be another huge year for AMD. Ryzen 2 or Ryzen Plus is expected next year, as shown on leaked roadmaps, which will optimise the initial Ryzen 7, 5 and 3 lineup of CPUs, undoubtedly in that order. In terms of CPUs in 2018, for AMD specifically, I see it being another massive landmark year. They're expected to release Ryzen Plus or Ryzen 2, whatever it will be called, as indicated by leaked roadmaps, across 2018, which will be optimised releases of the initial Ryzen 7, 5 and 3 CPU lineups. This very much so follows the CPU development cycle used by both AMD and Intel of tick-tock. What that means is they create a new architecture of CPUs that are all new to the market, and then they leave them for 12 to 18 months to mature before optimizing these CPUs and releasing an optimized set, and waiting another 12 or 18 months before releasing yet another new architecture. Now what that means is mainly we're going to see faster clock speeds and mainly IPC improvements, but nevertheless this should counter Intel's Coffee Lake CPU releases this year, which is very exciting indeed. One huge advantage that AMD seems to have on its side, and that they've talked about already officially, is the fact that these optimized Ryzen chips and then the next CPU architecture from AMD should stick using this AM4 socket, and that means that you shouldn't be waiting ages and ages for AMD to release new chips, as they're actually going to keep the upgrade path there, which is definitely appreciated from a consumer standpoint. But what else can we expect to see from AMD in 2018? One keyword: APUs. Now, their Ryzen 3, 5, 7 and even their Threadripper chips didn't actually have any inbuilt graphics in, and that was for good reason. They were for desktop systems, particularly aimed at people who are gaming, who will go out and buy a separate graphics card, which is far better in some of the latest AAA titles and even the slightly older games. This, however, is no good for slimline or more budget mid-range laptops, as they aren't going to want to spare the expense or spare the space for an actual dedicated graphics chip. Their Ryzen 3, 5 and 7 chips will be cut down with lower TDPs and graphics built in to allow them for laptop use, and this could be a serious avenue of revenue for AMD. They've got the desktop nailed and they'll now be aiming for the mobile side of the market, and all for them. This is a huge opportunity for AMD to claw back yet more market share that they've lost in recent years. Finally, on the AMD front, rumours are surfacing of a Navi GPU release on the 7nm manufacturing process in August next year. For me, this seems far too quick and a bit of a pipe dream for August at least. 7nm is really small, and instead what I see to be more probable is a Vega refresh of their current consumer end graphics cards to complement the Vega 56 and 64 releases in Q3 and 4 this year. A Vega refresh of their RX 560, 570 and 580 cards could do incredibly well not only with gamers but also with cryptocurrency miners, and their release date, whilst they expect it to be the first half of next year, may get pulled forward or pushed backwards depending on AMD's stance. Will they want to bring out something better to please cryptocurrency miners even further, or will they want to hold off and continue selling the products that they're already selling a lot of at high prices and high margins to those cryptocurrency miners whilst building up stock of these new Vega refreshes? That is something we are yet to find out, and something that only time will tell to the answer of that question. Next up is Intel, and boy what a year they've had. It's easy to see how their year may have been overshadowed by the massive amount of CPU releases from AMD. However, they have had some great products out this year. Kaby Lake launched in January with some really fantastic products. I actually covered Kaby Lake in a few videos, the playlist for which is in the card section now, and was very impressed with it. We then of course can't forget about the storm that was X299. What a mess that was. I genuinely can't believe that was this year. It feels like so long ago. I expect AMD in the first half, to be honest, of 2018 to refresh their enthusiast lineup of CPUs to try and combat AMD's Threadripper releases and top-end Ryzen 7 chips, because let's be real, X299 was completely just a waste of everybody's time. You should also expect to see sooner rather than later the non-K, non-overclockable variant of Intel's new Coffee Lake lineup, which I've covered in videos in the card section here, and I expect these to arrive in January or February, along with some new motherboards with chipsets that don't support overclocking, although that's very much information that we already know. But that about wraps it up for this video. I just wanted to add, I've had no correspondence with Intel, AMD, Nvidia or any third-party motherboard or graphics card manufacturer in relation to any of the information talked about today. That's all just sort of my knowledge from product release cycles, a roundup of rumours, and fitting with patterns of what we've already seen before. If you did enjoy this video though, smash that like button. Are you looking to build a PC in 2018? Let me know in the comments section below. But as always, we'll see you in the next GeekaWhat video.